Right, well, I feel like I need to tell you all about myself a wee bit. So I'm Laura. As normally said, we met at the Commonwealth Games. I have a background in sport from gymnastics. I started when I was really young age, and I've been in the sport for, oh my goodness, 23 years now. So I've gone from coach, gymnast to coach to official. So I'm now a national official for British Gymnastics. I've done my first international competition and things like that. So it's really made me love the sporting environment. Everyone's really good. It's a good chat. It's quite exciting. It's always on the telly. So you get on the telly. I was on the telly. So so that's a bit about me. I worked at the 2018 European Championships for gymnastics. And yeah, so I'm going to hand you over to Elliott. Just a bit of background about him. He has been in the sport and event management kind of world for the last 8 or so years. He is currently on site, as you have seen, from the UEFA Euros football championships that's going kicking off. And I think we've got 50 days to go, Elliott, or less than 50 days now.
I've stopped counting because it puts me at edge to start counting.
Yeah, okay. So yes, he is on site right now. So I'm going to pass over to him and ask him a few questions and bits and bobs. So just to start us off really simply, like, could you just let us all please know why, the reason, how you ended up in the event industry, please?
How do I end up? So I was talking about teaching right at the start, but I kind of left that, and then I worked for Loughborough University where we host a few events, and then from there I kind of fluked my way in. I didn't sort of kind of aim to be doing what I am and working silly hours, but that's sort of my way was working up the ladder, and now I'm venue technical for Euro 2020. So I think it's that journey that I went on. It doesn't really explain how I got here. I don't really know how I got here.
I just kind of fallen over and ended up there.
You do, don't you? Like, you just look back going, why am I here? Like, why did they hire me? But obviously I am competent enough for them to want to hire me. So that's why I'm here.
That's good.
Yeah, sorry for the brief because I don't actually know. It wasn't my plan.
That's what happens though. Like, I mean, I was very lucky. So I knew a woman who, through my national technical official role, who was like, you're in Glasgow in 2018, so just go and help them. And I was like, right, do you know what? Okay, I will. And next thing you know, you're in stuck deep, running back and forwards from one end of the SEC to the other and just doing whatever you have to do. And it's fun.
You look back at your step count at the end of the day going, how to do that many steps?
24K, I know. We had a guy who organised, like, so within gymnastics, obviously there's loads of platforms that they build to put all of the apparatus on to make it look nice. Otherwise it'd be a bit boring, I think. And he, I'm not kidding, did about 55,000 steps a day, walking one length of the SEC to the other length, all the way around the hydro. It was so incredible how many steps you do. So
exactly. Yeah. Gymnastics destroys sports hall floor when I was doing the English gymnastics event. There's my claim to fame in gymnastics is picking up a bill for a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, so obviously you've told us how you've got to where you are, but so you said you started off in a PE. Well, did you do PE teaching? Did you? I don't know if we covered that.
So I did PGCE in PE, and then decided that actually I can't be asked, and then went to work for Loughborough University, thinking, okay, that'd be a new path. And I kind of had two sides. I loved that role because I kind of had an event management role, but I started right at the bottom as a sport assistant then. And then went to event manager, and then I had a sideline gig as looking after pastoral students, like for welfare, students in town. It was quite ironic because you're telling students off home parties. But it was a nice little side gig that sort of kept me doing what I wanted to do. But then there's a point where you've got to grow up and you go and do adult jobs, and sort of where I am now doing an adult job.
You were selling the student one as an adult job. I was buying it.
Oh, really?
Said parties. Yeah.
I felt like an adult.
Well, there's the start.
Exactly. It's just having that fun, isn't it, and enjoying events. And I think if you enjoy.
What do you think your favourite event was when you were doing that Euro?
So for me, always the smaller events are probably better, like the Sainsbury's School Games finals and stuff that we delivered a good few times. I think Why was yours? I'm just getting distracted by Daisy. His step count was not that high. Well, we can work on that, Daisy. Come join us on Euros and get you up to like 50,000 steps a day. But back where I was, school games, you sort of, school games national finals, sort of the up and coming talent. We turned over the whole of University campus to that. Lots of temporary infrastructure, but sort of opening ceremony where we've got fireworks going off and cool. You've seen all these kids like dancing. Ooh. It's kind of rewarding because you actually feel rewarded for what you get.
I feel like really putting something on.
Yeah, and you can actually you can see the raw love of what you've done on so many faces.
Like at that stage, and you see like all those intricate kind of details. So like as you said, even those people that were standing there dancing, they'd have been like, "This is class. I'm dancing and somebody's watching me, and this is great."
But you don't realise how much you blagged things to get to where you to get them on stage. And I think that's always thing. You got your fingers crossed that something you blagged holds up for the rest of the day. And you're like, yes, it
there's somebody in the background going, "Where's the other person in the yellow t-shirt? Where are they? Why aren't they in position?"
Exactly, and through sport as well. If things going wrong, they don't know, or generator breaking. That's sad stuff that I get into, is generators breaking things. But I can't remember what your question was.
Sorry. Oh, it's okay. I was just.
We've done that. Let's move on.
We're moving on. Right. Okay. So, can you please let us know what your favourite part is about working in sporting events?
I think it's spectators, isn't it? Like you work in a sporting event, you very rarely actually get to see the sport that you've delivered. But it's seeing the enjoyment on spectators' faces, or seeing the enjoyment on athletes' faces. I think that is probably why anyone delivers any events. I think I was saying earlier, I don't have hardly any experience in any other industry other than sport, but I think you deliver events and you work your arse off to deliver good events, to see the reaction on people's faces. So that's probably my favourite part, is when we get, so for Euros, the best part of it is when we get fans in, and you sort of hear them chanting.
How many fans you're likely to going to get? No, is it 25%? Is it more?
I can't remember what our official line is, so I'm going to pass on that question.
Okay, I think it's 25%.
I think it is 25%. Yeah, there's too many conversations going behind me, and I can't remember what my official line is, and I don't want to get stopped. Otherwise, this whole conversation will be relevant because I'm not working on the others.
Sure it is. And do you get to see like a lot of spectators in your role that you're doing right now, or as you say, do you get like that face-to-face contact, or is it just more of a you run around behind the scenes and then just getting word of mouth?
No, I think any role you do in an event, you have that point of contact, and it is spectators, and something where like Wembley with 90,000 fans, you'll hear them or come into contact with them at some point. So I think though you might not directly be working them in like a spec services role, you kind of get that enjoyment and see them.
Wow. So whilst you're on venue and like say there's a football match going on at the time, what is your like key role right there and then?
So for Euro 2020, I'm hoping that a lot when the match happens. So a lot of my role at the moment is infrastructure builds prior.
Yep.
So time we get to sort of match day -1 and match day, I'm hoping not a lot. If a lot of things are happening, then things have gone wrong. And I won't be happy. So yeah, I'm hoping I can kind of relax and see things. There's always those problems. Go again.
So that's quite a nice role to have, that when it actually all kicks off, you can kind of just sit back and go, right, we should be good, we're fine. If not, you're running around like a headless chicken.
I think it's either or, isn't it? It's never in the middle, is it? It's either or.
Somebody will walkie-talkie for something.
Yeah, something's broke.
Then the step count will come up again. Cool, right. So, I mean, we've kind of covered it. I mean, I've technically just covered my next question, which I didn't mean to do, but I suppose, could you let us know as well what like your typical day is looking like right now? So obviously you're still kind of in the build stage of Euros, and we know kind of what it's going to be like when a football match kicks off, but could you let us know what it's kind of like right now?
Yeah, so it's long days. I think for the last 3 weeks, we started build 3 weeks ago, and it's been over 13, 14-hour days. At the moment, we're installing all the sort of backbone temporary infrastructure, from power to how we get power somewhere, how we get broadcast cables somewhere. we try and get all that done before sort of the other projects arrive on site. So we're getting stuff ready for accreditations turn up, we're getting stuff ready for match and volunteers and all those other domains that you've probably heard of. Is we're working frantically to hit deadlines to get them happy. So typical day at the moment is very much sort of project managing the contracts we have on site, liaising between the stadium contacts, contractors, and mediating, trying to make sure that the stadium obliged to the host agreement, contractors obliged to what we've agreed, and then also resolving problems that could be quite small, or it could be like chopping down a lamppost that's in the way. So there's a lot of firefighting already. You think you sit there in meetings and you go, right, let's plan this, let's plan this, let's plan this. But we all know that even a plan doesn't actually exist when you really start.
That's so interesting. Wow, that is an intense day. Oh my goodness. Well, that's I mean, you've kind of already mentioned some of like the key skills and all that is required within your job role. But if you were to name maybe like your top 3 with you must have within the role that you're in currently, what ones would you pick or choose?
I think any in events, the first role is that sort of just smile and just be there to feel like you're getting punched over and over again and just keep smiling, not in an arrogant way, but it's that sort of, you've got to keep going. You've got to know, like, it's the same as sort of teaching, isn't it? Like when you used to shout at a teacher, like that teacher probably never took it personally. Like when you got contractors whinging and moaning, you got stadium whinging and moaning, it's like, don't take things personally. Just find a resolution to that problem and work with both parties to keep them happy. So I think that's one. Just keep going.
Like so hard.
It is like we had weeks where you're sort of just standing there going like, I feel like I've just had 10 rounds with Mike Tyson, but you just got to keep going, just keep smiling, and just get up the next day and just kind of forget about the day before. I think stamina, like I'm quite bad at, I will literally give everything every single day, and you do feel it. Like I'm absolutely knackered today, and we're on the 29th of April and the tournament's in June. So it's a skill that I need to learn, but I think it's a skill.
How many coffees have you had today?
I try not to drink coffee as much. Like I've got one here that I've half drunk. I've got a Vimto, but this is not the first time I've sat at a desk in like weeks. But that suits me. But I think it's just keep going, but then you know what you're going to achieve at the end. So as long as you've got your sort of reward, I think you can keep going. Not that that's a skill, but
I feel like, and the nice thing about sport thing is that everybody's just like, it'll get done, and sometimes you feel like you're never ever going to get it done, and everyone's like, yeah, don't worry. I mean, I remember when we were at Euros for European Championships, and it was 50 days to go, and everybody was like manic, running around crazy, everybody was asking for something all the time, and I was just like, no way are we going to be on venue and be ready to go, and we were, and it's crazy how things just seem to just get done and get on with it. It's really impressive.
Things happen, and you're sitting there, you're worried about stuff, and sometimes the closer you get, the quicker things get done from suppliers and stuff. So I don't know how many days I honestly don't know how many days we've got left, but I know we'll get there. Like it's one of them, like we've got to be done. So whatever happens, the day the spectators walk in, right, it's got to be finished. So I guess though that's not a skill, but that's something that, again, you just got to keep going. I've not even talked about skills, have I really? Like you don't need skills, you can make your skills. Fake it, you make it, don't you? Just keep smiling and you'll get there. Like I'm not good at English, but I can blag it. But no,
as I always say.
Thank you. I'm taking that to keep going.
What is it called? Tenacity? Is that the right word?
I'm dyslexic. I don't know big words.
Resilience is another one.
Resilience, yeah.
Resilience, yes. Thank you. Keep them coming, guys. Just keep giving them to me and make
everybody onto thesaurus.com.
Stamina. I'm liking this. But yeah, I just think the other things like being able to resolve problems. It's just being able to not rush. And I love the word soon. There's a joke that I have the English soon. I've got like lots of contractors here from like Belgium and Germany. I'm like, I just use the word it'll be done soon, just as a way of me figuring out the right answer. Like they don't always need to know an answer straight away, do they? Like,
They don't
take a
need to
step
know
back.
3 days and 5 hours. They just need to know.
Exactly. Soon, yeah, they're on it. We're on it. They'll get there. Doesn't wash as well when you get closer to an event, but I think it's setting realistic goals and don't overpromise. Like, just be realistic to yourself and realistic to them. That's a skill, being realistic.
Yeah, and not like saying, "Oh, it'll be done by next week," and then they're coming knocking your door next week and being like, "You said next week."
Yeah,
and then
I know this has been recorded, so people sitting in here, so I'm not giving my biggest method away, but I always like add like half a day onto whatever deadline someone tells me. And I forget it done, they get an absolute smile and they love me. But then I've just got a bit of extra time. Like, don't overpromise and you'll get there.
yeah, that's actually such a good idea. I might, next time my mum asks me for a wash, and I'm just like, give me half a day. Give me half a day.
Thank you, Naomi. You're on board. You might as well just do this for me. Like, just keep chucking ideas out here, and I can say what you're telling me. So then, yes, under promise and over deliver. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, it's a great idea myself. Mine.
Nail on the head there. Right, let's move on to the next one. So, I mean, what advice would I suppose you give to somebody who wanted to start off working in the sporting industry? I mean, both of us have had very weird paths into it and just kind of stumbled across it. But I suppose if we were to try and make stepping stones.
Yeah, no, I think you can make stepping stones, but I think it's having realistic stepping stones. I think.
Okay.
I don't. Very difficult conversation to have, isn't it? But like, find ways of getting, like, there are, instead of thinking, okay, I'm going to directly go on to an event, like, there's probably ways of getting onto that event without.
So, like, through volunteering and.
Through volunteering, I think volunteering again, like, is a fantastic role, but again, I don't think you should over volunteer.
Yeah.
I think, but again, like, you might find other roles as like sports assistants or crew or something where you can then network, get to know people, chat, and find out and get yourself in sort of that way.
Yeah.
Is probably the sort of biggest thing is just look for smaller events that kind of people don't know about. Yeah, no, I agree, Linda. I think spec services is great for people that is good, is a good role. It's an important role, and I think it gives people a good overview of where they're getting to. I think the biggest tip is networking, but networking in the right way. Like, I think networking, I think networking should be more just having a chat with someone and showing that you've got skills and that desire and that passion, rather than going, how do I get there? So that's how I'd kind of think the stepping stone should be, is build contacts, understand.
Yeah. I feel that person will know what your strengths are after you've had that conversation with them, so they can definitely probably point you in the right direction to say, oh, you could go down the spectator role, or you could go down the special events role within like a sporting event. Yeah, and that way they still get the best of both worlds.
And like, you think, granted, like, I'm employed for the organising committee for the Euros, but I've delivered other events in the past where, like, I'm employed by a contractor that's still working on the event. So don't think that the only roles on an event as well are those that are through an organising committee. I think a lot of people do. I think they sort of get disheartened if they don't get a role on the event. But there's so many different places that you can get to. Like, even just take catering, for example. Like, they hire so many staff for catering. Like, get a job there, get talking to people, and find ways in. Like, I think that's the best way. And for those that are at uni as well, is use all those opportunities that the uni chucks you to gain an understanding. In events, it's open. Like, there's so many roles coming up. Like,
so have you been involved in like sporting events that you've got no idea what the rules of the sport are?
I worked in netball, and I don't have a clue what the rules in netball are. I think my demise in that sport was the fact I did not have a clue about the rules. And obviously, I did like ops managing for like a short period of time, and but I think sometimes, again, if you talk about how to get into sport, is look at some of those up and coming sports. I think netball's game's on its way up. Like, you've got women's cricket now that I think is going to be a huge sport in a few years' time. You've got like loads of other different things that are getting investment, like find a job there, like a random sport like pentathlon. Again, I knew they were hiring a few months back, and then gain the experience and build contacts and go sort of those networking places, and then you can get into a sport that you really like. But then
you don't even need to like the sport. I feel that's what's so nice about it is my mentor right now is a triathlon expert pretty much, and she organizes the Ironman, and I'm like, that must be so like mad, like just like what bit of water do you pick that they're going to swim in, and what bit do you pick that they're going to cycle in? Just sounds mad, but that's what she just does every day, and then goes to like Dubrovnik or goes to I don't know, Spain, and just does it. And I'm like, that's so cool.
And then you think actually they're more special. I wouldn't be able to do that role, and I think actually people don't think of all the roles within sport that
and the intricacies of it. Yeah,
exactly. Like I think this today's title is sporting events, but I would not, like, I've managed volunteers, but I would not have a clue and would not want to do what the volunteer coordinators and managers do. Like,
yeah, that's so
unbelievable.
impressive.
Like juggling so many volunteers and that, like, so there's all those different roles and try them and just find a way into where you want to get to. You see an event, and I think a lot of people, and it might be just because, and again, I'm probably totally wrong here because I don't really know the corporate world, but it might be because the corporate role is quite event manager. They pick up so many different hats. And I think you do in smaller events, those larger events, there's me in tech that people think tech, but it's actually overlay. So technical services, you've got broadcast, you've got volunteers, you've got management, like there's so many.
Broadcast is apparently a really good one to get involved in, and they also apparently have a very good lunch. So if there's ever a broadcast role, I would encourage you to apply for it.
They always get looked after. Yeah, broadcast always get looked
really
after.
Well after.
Yeah.
So if you want a good lunch, apply for broadcast role. Not that the other lunches are bad, they're not, but apparently get well looked after, as you said. I know.
Who's clueless? You were clueless, Naomi, what overlay was? I don't even think we covered that question, have we?
Oh, we haven't even. Oops.
Is that coming up or is that been? Should I do it now?
No, let's talk about it now. It's okay. We'll go with it now.
Does anyone actually know what overlay is?
I mean, I've got a rough idea. It's like, is it not just like the in-betweens in the build and the debuild?
Basically, but overlay is such a broad term, but for Euros, it's sort of anything that's not bolted down, from the camera platforms to temporary power to some reason COVID mitigation. I don't know why it comes under me, but it now does.
You're one that has the big words.
I was like, whoa, yes, I've got extra volunteers for that, so like COVID mitigation, like that's gonna be amazing on the CV. Temporary power, temporary structures, tents, temporary water, anything that's temporary that's sort of not within the stadium. But then you could work some events that like signage and things like that all comes under overlay.
I do like a good sign.
I know.
And I like following the footpath and going, we need a sign. And we need to print off a sign, guys. And then next thing you know, it's up tomorrow.
I know. I wish I was in signage, because it is one of those things. I think overlay is kind of under recognised because everyone then brands what you've just done. Like, I built a really nice cable, not me personally. Like, I always go, I built a cable bridge, but I'm not that clever. But I built a really nice cable bridge outside that I'm really proud of. Like, not just me working on it, it was other people, of course. And now signage is going to come in a few months and like brand it. I'm like, guys, like, you just got rid of this amazing thing. Like the lamppost that we chopped down last minute, like, you can't see the remnants of that anymore. Like, it's quite upsetting. But
I mean, I don't really like an exposed cable, so I think I'm on the signage side, but
exactly.
I understand your disappointment.
Yeah, like, I can't now point at people and go, look at that.
That's beautiful.
And I'm quite sad, like, all the photos. Like, I randomly sent on a WhatsApp group today, like random photos, let's do a build. I randomly like said, like, oh no, turn it off. Like random pictures of cables and stuff, and for me, I'm like, yes, look at how these cables like are hanging down here. Like, it's just so cool. And
that is the weird thing about when you're on venues, you get that big random WhatsApp group where everyone just throws all their nonsense in. Like, we got a video of them taking like plastic off a carpet, and it was so satisfying to watch. And I'm sitting at my desk going, this is brilliant. That was 10 minutes I've watched of somebody peeling all of the carpet back, and it was stunning.
But no one replied to my pictures of cables. I was quite upset. I was quite happy of how they're flowing. But that's a sad bit from overlay. But I think it's a cool role because you get to see everything and you get to deal with.
You really have covered everything. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing you don't see. Do you see a toilet?
I mean, we're installing temporary toilets, so cleaning comes under us and waste management.
Yeah.
Not that I'm cleaning or waste management, that comes under overlay as well.
CCWs,
So,
I feel for them.
Well excited.
Right, okay, we'll move on. Oh, wait, is there more? Yeah, Portland chat, I know. Nothing new there. So, Elliott, yes, what do you think the most difficult part of your career has been so far?
Leaving somewhere. Like I got offered a job on European Championships up in Glasgow.
Join the club.
Yeah, and I think everyone did, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I turned it down, and I think that's my biggest regret. Like, I don't know if I would have been where I was now, but...
What sport do you think you would have done if you were at 2018?
As assistant event manager for road cycling, so it would have been pretty...
We would have been like in the same, like, the gymnastics right beside the cycling in the office.
I'm glad you said it wasn't your job, and like...
No. And
it's
okay.
It sometimes happens, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, I turned that job down, old sugar.
I have heard like a lot of people have been like, oh, they apply for it and then they know the person who's like got the job ahead of them. Like, it's so like interesting.
That's the event world.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The world. But I do regret. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge is leaving somewhere and going onto the next bit. D-rig's always a bit heartbreaking, isn't it?
Oh, that's so sad. And then you're like, oh, it's all over, and you've lost all your stamina, and there's no excitement anymore.
Exactly, and then but then you kind of have that, or you're sort of like, you're tired, you're fed up an event, and it takes you about a week to actually go, okay, that was a decent event. But it's that reflection. Yeah, D-rig, that's hard.
That is hard, and I feel like there's so much paperwork involved with that nobody really mentions, and it's trying to keep that motivation to keep going and do all that boring signing off of things and handing things back over. It's just,
and you stand there arguing about a bit of damage on a wall. It's
like, there's a key missing. Just make a new key, please. Make a new key.
Yeah, I guess that's the hardest bit, then, isn't it? Is that missing key?
Yeah, it's in someone's washing machine. Like, it's gone.
Yeah. Lost radio batteries, lost radios, where they come and charge like 500 quid for a £10 radio. Yeah, that's the toughest bit. I think D-rig.
Yeah, that is hard.
And moving on.
Oh, and then I suppose, most of the venues that I've been in related to sport, we're always back in the same venue, but that's completely different depending on what sport you're in. Like, for gymnastics, the gymnastics in Glasgow is always kind of held in the hydro, so it's just a case of, oh, we've done this before, cool, right, how will we make it different, and changing the routes between the warm-up hall and I suppose we call it podium, but at least if you do it different, that's the strange thing, is nothing does actually change.
You got to try and think, otherwise you get complacent, don't you? The best bit about gymnastics is the strong floor you get to run down. I think you jump in hard.
That's always in the back. Everyone's like, yeah, chuck that at the back. I know. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, and then I suppose we can move on to the last one before we hand out for some more questions from everybody else. But could you maybe pick a highlight so far of your career?
I think for me, again, it's weird. It's probably one of the smaller events. It's the school games final. I think again, the smaller events are sometimes better because you've got more hats on. You run into a tighter budget. You kind of, and you get to see what you've achieved. Like school games is a tough few days. It's a complex multi-site build and things. You kind of then look back and go, actually, these young people, which is a technical word for someone tells me off, is actually enjoys it and they're rewarded, and then you see them then go off to the Olympics. And I think a lot of the Olympians that have gone off in the future have actually commented on the fact that was a springboard to helping them. So I think that is rewarding. Don't get me wrong, working on a mega event is rewarding, is satisfying, and it's pretty cool. Even putting like the long hours aside is good, but I think for me the highlight will always be something like school games or under 17s Euros, where it's small, the budget's done, you actually see hands-on how you've made an impact to people's lives.
Yeah. And for them, those small games will feel like the Olympics. Like it's
They
mad.
do.
They'll love it.
Exactly. And that was the aim of the tournament, is to create an Olympic experience for them. So when they go on to the Olympics, they have that stepping stone. So you are creating that best experience that you can, and it's cool.
That is cool. Skill games. I wouldn't have expected that one. I don't do that. I mean, do you think the nice thing about it is obviously like within sporting events and things are quite I don't know, like translating between them. Is it nice that you have the option to like maybe travel with it as well? Like have you
Yeah,
traveled?
like you get to spend lots of time in hotels. Like I'm in a hotel at the moment. Like you get like, how cool is that, living in a hotel? Like again, the event was probably not all as glamorous as people make out, but no, you get to see different places. You get to see different events. I think it's different again, like whether you work in a venue or whether you work with an event. So like a lot of what I do now is with an event rather than a venue. I was actually talking to someone the other day ago, and I went, I probably wouldn't want to work in a venue again, because I kind of like delivering different events in different places over a shorter period of time than being stuck. And I don't think I could do an event for like 7 years either. Like people have been working on like the Euros for like 6 years. I'm like, no, thank you.
Wow. Yeah. Are you like a last minute jump? I'll help you. I'll come in.
Yeah. Works a bit
That's
better,
quite
doesn't it?
nice.
Glory, go for the glory and no, that's a joke.
To
That's
the
a
graph.
joke. I don't know who's on this call. No, I do not just do an event for the glory, but no, it's that kind of. It keeps busy, doesn't it? Like nothing beats being on site and the problems and sort of the journey of delivering an event rather than sitting on Teams calls or in meetings doing the boring bits of planning and negotiating contracts.
Nice. Right. Well,
I'm all for it if anyone on here is hiring people. I'm not saying that I'm not.
You're looking for another job already.
Get that in there, aren't I?
Right, great. Well, thank you so much. I suppose I could open up to any other questions that are people that are watching could chip in. I'm sure they'll be happy to answer some. But yeah, I suppose I'll probably kick off with. Oh, here we go.
There's a new message.
Oh, here we go. So, are you currently in a dream job, or what would be your dream role?
I'm currently in my dream job.
Is there anyone listening in the office right now?
I know. Like I've actually gone into the fishbowl. It's like a smaller office. Honestly, I think I probably am. I don't think I'd ever want to be. It sounds quite bad. And it's probably. I don't think I ever want to be like a top dog of organising and have too much pressure. Like there is pressure where I am, but I don't want to wear a suit every day and have big dog conversations. Like I like talking to contractors and things like that. And I like building stuff and dealing with problems. Do I think I'd move into another domain? Probably not. So yeah, I'm like happy where I am. Like I work 3 weeks of 19 hours a day, and I'm still smiling and still coming into work every day. So I think that's a good test. Yeah. My missus probably doesn't. She probably thinks I actually life, but
no, she's actually loving it. She's like, yeah,
peace and quiet. Yeah, exactly. Got rid of you finally. Counting down the days. Yes, Phoebe. It probably is.
That's okay.
Oh, another one.
Yeah.
What is the best advice for dealing with contractors and sponsors? Sponsors, you have to smile. So yes.
Yes, of course. I'll get that for you.
Anything you want. Contractors is about being realistic. I think it's important. I get told off quite a bit from big fish because I spend a lot of time nurturing my relationship with contractors.
That's really important though, because then they'll know whether you're talking nonsense or if you're like on the ball.
Exactly, and I think
right through you.
Yeah, and I think the longer you spend with contractors and that taking that journey with contractors, I think, and being there, the better things you're going to get. You're going to always need favors from someone. I need a favor. I left coffee cups outside in the rain, nothing to do with me, but they're outside. So I had to call another contractor to move them because I already told someone else they were moved. Why am I doing the coffee cups? I don't know. But we managed to move them before they got too wet, and I managed to get away with it. So I think it's having that relationship with contractors, but being realistic as well. Like I've had conversations before where you can't never overpromise, be realistic. I think, I can't remember, is it in this bit, or was it when we were chatting before we started about the word soon? Like, I love the word soon because it's just amazing. Like, there is no real time frame with soon.
No, there's not.
I just think, yeah, don't overpromise. Be nice, be open. Go and buy them Haribo. Like,
sweets, you need
exactly.
The
Like,
sweets.
it might be coming out of your own pocket. Like, I went to Costco the other day. It cost me £6 for a big bag of Haribo, but they love you forever and your life's simple. So that's some other tips. Sponsors is difficult. Sponsors is a real challenge, but I think it's about being open, transparent, and understanding their contract.
Yeah.
Understanding that they do move the world quite a bit. But they're again not over promising, not going yes, because you don't know the effect that has on another area or another contract.
Of course, and then it's on your head because you've been like, yeah, I'll get that for you.
Exactly. But don't be afraid of sponsors. Like, everyone's going to push their luck. Like, contractors will push their luck. Everyone pushes their luck, and it's the same as another little role I do is team liaison officers. So I live with visiting teams, and like, I try and say no as quick as I can.
I'm so bad at saying no. I'm a bit of a people pleaser.
Yeah, you've got to try and just say no once, and life's okay. If you keep saying yes, then you're going to get taken for a ride with whatever role you're doing. My personal opinion. Other people might have other opinions, but I think it's setting realistic goals, but by also doing it with a smile. Someone said the other day, I can deliver really bad news in a happy way, and no one can ever say, and no one can ever hate me. And that actually came from a contractor that had some bad news delivered by me. So I think it's being happy, being smiling, and just not delivering bad news in a bad way. I hope that answers your question, Daisy. Though I can't see Daisy, whether she's falling asleep, but
she's here. Don't worry.
Great stuff.
Cool. Oh, she's replied. There you go.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Cool.
Well, great. I mean, I'm trying to think if I have another question. Oh, here we go. Naomi.
Oh, come on, Naomi. That's a big one.
Do you want me to do
I've lost the chat now. Bear with me.
Okay, I'll ask you. So, what advice would you give to a newcomer on site, like someone who's new to sporting events or mega events? So they're brand new, off the street, and they come. What would you say to them?
I think just be willing to give it a go. Like, whatever your role is, like, every single role you're doing is there because it makes a difference. So just have fun. Don't worry when people have a go at you.
I think also there's so many people that, I mean, you should definitely just continue to ask questions, because you'll have so many people that will be telling you one thing and another. And if you just keep asking loads and loads of questions, then you can't really do any wrong. And it makes you approachable. It makes you're on the ball. And I mean, you'll have fun that way.
Exactly, and I'm a big believer in over communicating as well. Like, I love over communicating. Some people under communicate, it does my head in, but I think over communicate, like, let people know what's going on. Yeah. Ask for advice when you need to, and if you over communicate, then people can help. Like, I've got time to talk to anybody about events, probably when I'm a bit more awake, but it's having, like, ask questions, just try any role, like, just have a go, volunteer if you're unsure. I think if you are going to do an event, you've got to be committed to that event. Like, if you join an event 2 months out and you didn't like it and you quit after 4 weeks, there might be an impact on the event. So if you're going to join, you join for the long run.
Yeah,
you're not always going to like.
You've got a lot on your shoulders, but at the same time, you'll get through it.
Yeah. And like a lot of starter roles, like assistants and things like that, even they have a lot of freedom and a lot of responsibility, and like, make any role you want. And while you're at an event with a volunteering, talk to people. And I think there's like a serial volunteer here, wasn't there? I don't know if that's the correct word. Daisy, she asked another question.
No, I don't think so.
No, Daisy, you volunteered somewhere.
Oh yeah, she volunteered at London.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, like, she's on this conversation today, so obviously she still has an interest in events. So I think it sort of shows that volunteering and just gaining that experience happens. But I also think
Sorry,
I was paid in the end. There we go, Daisy. You could have done this conversation instead of me today. You might have had more experience. But no, I think the only one other bit of advice, I don't go to a sporting event now and actually probably enjoy it in the same way. I keep getting nudged when I go to like a concert as well and stuff. I get distracted. Like I was at a concert and the fire alarm was going off in the corner. I was like, the fire alarm was going off there. Just give it 10 minutes and let's see if it goes off.
Like a nervous tick, but it's just an event tick.
or you're looking at like how the rigging's gone. You're like, that's quite cool. Or you're looking at like what the search policy is and all those geeky stuff. But so I think that's one of the downsides is like I probably don't go to an event now and actually probably enjoy it in the same way. But that's me. Like I am probably. I
think if you're in this role and you're on this journey, that everybody's like that. Exactly. Do you know what I hate when people have got. So I was in Morrison's. This is so off topic. I'm so sorry, but in Morrison's, local Morrison's, and they're trying to traffic the people of like one-way systems, and they've got the people coming out of the tills crossing over the people that are coming in, and I'm going, no, that's not how you do.
And people are giving me a nudge. I want to say something, I want to give them a help, and it's like there's simpler ways of doing this.
Yeah, I'm like, there's another door over there. Just use that door, please.
Yeah,
but don't. It's gone now because they're less that on edge, but it's calmed my nerves.
I think it's anything that you go to, isn't it? You go to someone else's event and you're always looking about what they've done and how flows of people and stuff, all that sort of geeky stuff. And Daisy, you don't work for the Euros, do you? Before I get told I'm saying something wrong. Is there any more? What's the next question? I'm intrigued. What people else?
I'm going to ask you. Who is probably the most famous sporting legend you've met? Oh, we're good. We're safe.
Lots. I'm really bad with names.
Are they that famous if you can't remember their names?
You give me a football, I've probably met them.
Wow.
Yeah, for another role that I do. I probably met them. I've probably stayed in the same hotel as them.
Who's your favourite one then? And who? Yeah, because I mean, footballers always get a bit of a hard time, don't they? Yeah,
I'll get shot, won't I? I'm not having that. A lot of footballers are really nice. I think they're all really sort of friendly and actually, and I do think the press do give them a hard time. I think a lot of them do actually have nice hearts on them and are humans. It's got to be tough, hasn't it? Like I deliver a sporting event, but I'm not in the limelight. No. Yes, you are actually, Linda. Linda, you're an accreditation coordinator, aren't you?
That's so insane.
Linda, like the Euros is absolutely fantastic. It's the best event ever. And anything I say during this conversation is my own views. It's not the views of anyone else, nor any of my employees.
This is hilarious.
Oh my God. I should have done this at the start. Linda, it's all right, Linda. I met your boss today for the first time. She's lovely. But yeah, what was he?
We thrown you off. We were talking about footballers, but it's okay, Linda.
Yeah, no, I think to be honest, any athlete you meet, like they always do get a hard time in the press, but they are all really nice and friendly.
That's good.
I try not to talk about them too much because
I suppose it's not that much. They don't really have that much to do with your role.
Not in this one. In other roles, I do team liaison quite a bit. Oh no. I'm probably hated from the Euros team anyway, like for my random photos I send. But no, I think in another role I do deal with athletes quite a bit, and it's if you work in. No, I hate football. No, I don't hate football. I think football's a really cool sport. It isn't my favourite sport, and probably.
What is your favourite sport?
I prefer rugby over football.
Okay.
So something that someone taught me ages ago is try not to work in the sport that you love because you won't get a chance to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Football is a bit boring. Personal opinion.
I have to agree with you. I do agree. I love it. Like I like that everybody likes it. Like it's kind of like, I was like, I don't like it. But I mean, like everybody knows the rules. You kick the ball, you can't touch it with your hands, and it goes in the end goal. That's quite simple.
But then people say the same sort of like netball. Thank you.
Oh, Naomi!
I do know what the offside rule is, yes.
Me too.
Worked in football long enough. I also know Linda's colleague as well. He used to work at Loughborough, and he volunteered. He was my volunteer manager from the 17s as well. Great guy.
Rugby as well.
Yeah. Still, yeah. No, football is a great sport. I worked in tennis. I like tennis.
I think I'd really like to be at Wimbledon. That would be cool.
What doing though?
Anything. I'd just like to be there. I might just wear white all day as well, just because I'm a tennis player. Oh.
Okay, thanks for getting us off this conversation, actually getting us back on to,
sorry.
the right chat before everyone zooms out and just sits here like trying to just listen to this random gossip. I'm still intrigued. I still love the fact that Linda's on this conversation. She takes advice off me, and she's actually working on the same event. Don't take any advice off me. What could newcomers do to prepare to apply for roles, sporting events? Risk, safety, the fun stuff. I think it's just gaining an understanding of sport, and I think volunteering is a good way to go. Do I think doing courses before you get a role? Probably not, because there's so many broad courses you could get a job at. I didn't do this, and I'd probably get sacked because I can't stand still. But get a role as a steward at a football ground or something like. And then from there, you get talking to senior safety managers, and then you get talking to safety. Like, I do event control at a number of events and stuff, and like that came through talking to somebody else about something else, and I quite enjoy it. But a lot of people get into different roles by talking to starting as steward. Like, some people in the Euro teams at the moment, although I was his assistant now, but she was a steward here, and she got to talk to people, or she did a volunteer role here. So I think that's the best way is to, so you don't always have to volunteer, do you? You can get paid. Like, stewards get a nice decent whack for working on it, and they also probably get to see a sport that they enjoy as well.
I think the stewards always get involved and like to know everything involved. We had a woman who did the warm-up area, and she was like, who's that? Who are they? What country's that? And she knew them all by their leotard. She knew everything. She knew who was coming in at 9 o'clock, who was away, because in gymnastics they like to abuse like their time that they're allowed to come in and warm up, and they try and come in early. And she was like, no one's coming in. They're fully invested.
But you remember her name, and then if she actually applied for it, if she then got a CV in for a job that you're recruiting for, then you remember that person. Oh, yeah, it's that and that, and then you're sort of willing to give them a go.
She was meant to go across the road to do Paw Patrol. So Paw Patrol was in like the what's it called? The armadillo across, and we were like, no, can we keep her, please?
and that's the sort of stuff. I think is, don't be afraid to do that, and just try and just show. And things like these conversations today, like, I'll remember Linda now forever as a person that sort of caught me out. But I think it's that, it's getting on those conversations. It's just knowing people and just doing anything you can to get where you want to get to. Like, the world is open, like the sporting events going. I'm probably really bad with names, so I'm probably not the person to go. But if you sort of see the worked on the same event, or the volunteered, or they've even been to, then I think doing that is correct. So I'll just give a wave to someone leaving the office, and I just got on camera. I was trying to go at someone the other day. I don't normally ever go at people. I was on a Teams call. Shut up. Forgot about that. Yeah. Any more questions? Is that answered your question, Naomi? Probably not, because I've digressed 20,000 times.
I get nervous when she's typing. She's typing again, Elliott.
Oh,
there we go.
Cool. Any more questions? I've got time for more. I'm here till
when you get told to leave.
No, I'm in one of those roles where I go home when I'm ready to go home, but I want to make sure my contractors haven't burned down the place before I go home, because if something goes wrong, they'll call me, and it's that fine balance, isn't it? Is you don't want to be at home, or not at home, in a hotel room having a nice drink of something, and your phone rings. Someone phoned me during line of duty. That's the commitment you have to give away in events. last Sunday or the Sunday before, my phone rang during line of duty and I had to pause it. That's commitment. So you've got to be prepared.
This Sunday, it's the finale.
Exactly. I don't know what I'm going to do, but you've got to be prepared even during the most important hours to pick up your phone and deal with a problem and still be as excited to pick up the 20th phone call from the same person.
I made that mistake once and gave them, I hadn't got given like her like on venue mobile phone contact, and I had to give them a personal one for the first full week. Did they message me and phone me every single day that I wasn't on venue? Yes. On a driving lesson? Yes. I was livid.
It's what happens. I've just given up with work phones. I dual SIM this one, and it just makes your life easy. Like they'll find your own personal number somehow, or get hold of you somehow if they want you. Oh, we've got another question.
We're good. We're good.
It's the same one. Oh, it's a new one.
I think it's the same one.
No, what are the roles areas involved in mega sporting events? Well, I think we should bring Linda into this conversation. Linda, your accreditation. I think accreditation is just printing off accreditation and handing it to people, but I actually think there's more to it than that.
Oh, it's so. I mean, our accreditation normally. I mean, they always have to make sure that the right signage is the same. We were talking about signage earlier and about how they need to make sure that the right numbers are available so that the security people let in the right amount of people. And
I think that might be access management during Euros. I'm not too sure. There's too many domains doing too many different things. But yeah, I also think Linda's off mute now. But you have to ID check people as well, don't you? And then print the right accreditations off. Yeah. And then you get people moaning at you because you've got the wrong zone. That's why I couldn't. Like, you're dealing with way too many people.
So you collecting all the data, process that, background check it before you even get onto venue.
Exactly.
So yeah, and then as you say, I think it depends. Like, so I've done an event before where we did access control as well. That wasn't a separate role, but I think I've seen it separate at the Euros.
Yeah, I think it is. But like, there's like 3,500 people so far, like accreditation permissions for Euros. Like, imagine dealing with 3,500 people. That's got to be absolutely bonkers.
That'd be nice.
Exactly, and like I guess some of the tough things is as well is potentially, I'm not saying this for Wembley, but obviously some people are used to different accreditation systems, and then they've got to get used to Euros. So I think that's difficult.
That's so impressive.
Exactly. What else is there? There's overlay. You've got so on the Euros, you've got the venue management team that are sort of the mediators. You've got overlay that sort of work with every role and deliver what they need to deliver. Volunteers. I think volunteers is another one of those tough roles. Mm-hmm. I think you've got to try and keep so many people happy. You've got to keep the domains happy. Plus, you've got to keep the volunteers happy. So again, I'm like in all of those people that can do that.
How they deal when people don't turn up must be mental. I mean, it's really, really miserable with rain. How they keep them ticking over must be. Oh, I don't know how to do it.
Exactly. And you've got like spec services again. I think it's a really difficult role, like keeping your spectators happy and deploying so many volunteers. Like again, I think I've probably got the easiest role. Transport, yes, Linda. Transport's a huge one, particularly on Euros as well. They've got so many staff, and again, that's a complicated beast with all these different target groups, as we call them, needing transport. I'm going through the office. No one's really in work.
You get ceremonies.
Ceremonies, yeah. I'm a bit jealous of some of these other domains, like even Linda's. They're still working from home, and I'm on site. I'm like, they're sitting in Teams calls, having a cup of tea at home. I'm like, guys. Stadium. Yeah, cleaning is important one that comes under us, but then obviously some get done by contractors.
And do they have like people that deal with like all the federations?
Team services. That's got to be a difficult role as well, isn't it? Like juggling what teams want. But then again, they'll work across different. So obviously, they'll talk for transport. You've got security that again, like that's got to be challenging. It's got so many different stewards. You've got access management. You've got accreditation. I still think it's a bonkers role. Catering is the most important, I think, of everybody.
Agreed.
Catering is really important. Like Army marched on the stomach, we marched on our stomach as well. I've heard that at the Euros, this is not me making a dig at the Euros, it's a personal opinion, they've removed the snacks due to COVID regulations.
No snacks.
No snacks.
None.
I don't know if that's a rumour or if
It
that's
goes.
true. So I need tomorrow to quickly find out if my snacks have been removed. Because I think we've still got Coca-Cola and we've still got drinks, but I think snacks have been removed.
Oh.
That's like a dun 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 moment. I'd love to know what sector everyone watching is like. Yes, let's do
Right,
that.
let's
And this is
vote.
when people say, I actually don't want to work in sport. Phoebe, you're at the top of my screen. Come on, Phoebe. Julie, Anne, Isabella, either sports or festivals. There needs to be more defined than that. Come on, let's have a bit more detail. Like festivals is huge.
Yeah. That's so hard. I mean,
silence.
I feel like, see, in sports though, like what sector, if you were to work in sporting events, Phoebe, like what area would you like to do? Like, I know we talked about in the last one, Elliot, we all talked about Portaloos for a good half hour in festivals. We were talking, so that's why that came up. But I was wondering, like, what part of, like, what area or what part of sports you guys would like to get involved in if you did have the chance, like accreditation or facilities or
F1,
welfare.
that would be huge.
Ultra marathons, and again, Isabella, we need to set up our. We've got one day to set up our April meeting, so we're gonna have to do that like today.
Don't worry, you're so busy. It's absolutely fine.
Why we've got important people on here, we have to hit every other month, so we will do it. We'll do it. F1 for me too. Bringing wine to the party. You're actually enjoying this. Sorry, you're on the big screen and everyone's seeing you drinking wine during this conversation. I think like ultra marathons and things, I think those sort of stuff like is quite cool events to be part of because they're underfunded and you sort of get on with lots of different stuff. I'm really bad at I don't think I could work in TV and read those screens that tell you the words because I'm getting way too distracted with new things popping up. There's not many options. There's lots of options. No idea.
No, I think there were so many options.
So many options. Oh. Love charity PR events, love big charity runs and 10Ks. There you go then. Yeah. So like Clem,
mass participation must be so fun.
It's got to be, and I think there's so many events in there, but I don't think I could work in it because they're ran by more businesses than sports federations, and I think that's something. I
also wonder if sometimes you feel a bit like a shepherd, just trying to that's the starting line, go.
But I'd love to do like a big I've done like triathlons and stuff like that, and I did some of the Adidas 5Ks and stuff. It's cool actually. And to be honest, my most emotional moments, I don't show emotion, was a triathlon a couple of years back where there's a dad doing a triathlon with a disabled daughter and just seeing the excitement on her face and stuff. Exactly. And you go, actually, that was worth getting up at 4 a.m. for it because you've truly reached someone. I think that's probably the difference between sort of whether it's rugby or F1, etc. I don't think you truly reach somebody than you would do in a charity event.
That could have changed their life. They might run every single day now because that was so fun.
Exactly. And I think that's the difference between mass participation, I feel anyway, my personal opinion, getting that in there loads of times today. But I think that's the big difference, is seeing spectators come to an event and having fun. Great, you made the memories, but I think mass participation and charity stuff, you probably go further than that and you actually sort of hit the hearts of lots of people. They've raised money for charity, they've done something that they're achieving. There's a story behind why they're doing it. And I'm not saying that people go to concerts, there's not a story behind that, but I think you truly do that more. F1, I think F1 would be quite cool. Smaller events, and then you go into it. And then it was amazing, but I felt like a fish out from a pond into an ocean. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you can do. I mean, the difference between smaller events and bigger events is you bigger events, you've got so many people doing each domain. I'm just one fish in a big sea, though I deal with other places, where a smaller event you'll be dealing with everything, and you do miss that. It is hard when you are on a big event and you've got other domains or other people dealing with other bits, you know, I could just quite easily just deal with that bit lots quicker.
I think the nice thing is sometimes volunteers don't realise either is they could just ask to swap a role for like one day. So if you're like in for a long time, like you just need to find the coordinator and just be like, look, I want to go check out, I don't know, you might want to check out media for a day or results or whatever, and then see what's happening.
And I think there's always that thing as well, whether it's volunteers or even when you're in the role, you're probably always jealous of another role because you think that their life's a little bit cooler, but I think everyone's role does play an important part, and it is cool. Love the... Am I reading this correct? Love the admin side? Someone said they love the admin.
Some people do.
Phoebe, you love admin?
Spreadsheets literally make me happy.
Oh, I do like a spreadsheet. And they're always juicy when it's like sporting events, there's so many people involved. They are juicy.
I just don't know what to say. Like, people hate me because I am awful at admin. Like, emails get sent, important emails get sent off my phone. Like, that is my admin on my phone. Like, I haven't turned my laptop on for like 4 days. I was in a Teams meeting the other day. I was running around the corridor trying to find some better Wi-Fi signal. And the venue manager, who's UEFA, was like laughing at me, going, "Oh, come in here. I thought you were on a call." And it just failed. Like, admin, spreadsheets, not really.
No,
I would do
they're
anything.
good for some folk.
Exactly. Like, I think, and again, that's the beauty of events, isn't it?
Know your
Like,
strengths.
you've got people that love the admin and love beautiful spreadsheets that are color-coded, and you've got me, color-coded, and then you've got me that like likes being on the ground and will avoid any case of trying to do admin. Again, if there are people hiring on here, like I'm really good at Excel, fully competent, and I'm amazing at admin. Also, management stakeholders would be really interesting. I think that is key. Like, I think sometimes with that, you do feel like you're being shut from pillar to post, but again, you do feel rewarded when you get there. To have admin, but also relationship management. I think there are like loads of roles, particularly venues. Like, I think Wembley's got like community relation or stakeholder coordinator, something like that. Its job is to send comms out to local residents, send comms out to local businesses, deal with businesses that own land and stuff. So there's roles for everyone, isn't there?
Yeah.
And what's the next one? Come join the accreditation team. Data and client management. Yeah, like, really? Ooh. That's my personal opinion again. Accreditation is amazing. Admin, semi-options, come accreditation. Looks like Linda's already signed up with her next staff member. You should check out Formula E. There are loads of jobs at Formula E, actually. And they get to travel, like
that's fun.
Totally cool places. And again, like when that pops up on LinkedIn, you're like super jealous. They're again. But again, sort of the negatives, like you're away from home for like a long time. And I think that's it's looking through the windows again, isn't it? With rose tinted glasses, like it always looks cool when you're there, but
I think it's a role you need to do whilst you were young, and maybe just after you finish uni and just go straight out and do it when you've not really got any commitments and trying to kind of be an adult, but not really.
Yeah, but companies like CSM are always hiring people, and like Gallagher's for crew and stuff. Like, if you haven't got anything that tie you down, like, I think now's the time to go. Like, I want to, like, my someone says my dream. I really want to, like, there's something called Birmingham 2022, but not in Birmingham, Alabama, for like called the World Games or something. For some reason, I've got my eyes set on that for next year. Like, there's loads of other cool events going on. I'd love to be part of the Women's Euros, just get that in there while we're at it. But Birmingham, the World Games in Birmingham, Alabama, like, how cool would it be to like be part of like this random competition, like some random sports on it? I just think
lawn bowls, something weird.
Exactly. Like, I think I want to do a really random event is probably my dream. An event that's got lots of money, like, but it's got like really random sports on it. Just, yeah, random. I'm in a bit of a random
multi-sport. Make your own up.
Could do hopscotch and things. I'll keep your eyes out for the roles for you. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I might need one after my conversations today.
Everyone's going to stalk your LinkedIn to follow your journey.
My LinkedIn's awful. I'm really bad at LinkedIn.
I think that's another one. Some people are just really good at LinkedIn and some people are just not.
But some people, like people who are actually starting to stalk my LinkedIn. LinkedIn's good. This is personal opinion again. I don't think LinkedIn, like someone went to me the other week when is LinkedIn all or nothing. I actually genuinely think if you're bad at LinkedIn like me, don't be worried.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who has actually found a job through LinkedIn from someone you don't know? Have you?
Twice.
Have you?
Yeah.
Who was that?
The one I'm in at the moment and the one before. But I'm quite active on there, but I wouldn't say I'm great at it. Like I don't have a bio. Like it's one of those things I think where I don't know. The first one was like they saw I worked in festivals and they saw it was connection. They had a connection to that festival and that was that one. And in this one, they saw that I did event grads and saw it as initiative. So asked if I'd come on as a project exec. So it's like it's good to keep updated and see what's on there if you're like looking for jobs actively, like as a new grad. But I definitely don't think you need to, like half my connections are not on LinkedIn. None of my festival or sport connections are on LinkedIn. They don't need it or use it. But I think it's one of those things like use it when you need it. But don't
I think it's using it right, isn't it? Like so many people have gone to me like I'm so bad at LinkedIn, like I'm worried of this or I'm worried of that, like I'm not getting anything from it. Like I probably actually have had like I had a few people speak on LinkedIn, but don't get worried about it. Just go with the flow. Like I hardly ever post on it. I think I posted the other day for like the first time in ages a picture of the cable bridge I was so excited about. But just don't get worried. Like so many roles pop up, and I'm actually genuinely after this conversation today, who actually wants to work in sport? Does anyone actually still want to work in sport? Or festivals?
We wouldn't be here otherwise.
Exactly, but I think again, like lots of the roles in sport, particularly those that are with federations, you still have to go through the old school method. Even if you knew somebody in a role, you still need to go through the old school method of applying on their website. I was sending them a CV or filling in the application, the stuff that takes so long to do. And you get fed
it's
up.
really helpful if you just, even if you really want to get a paid role within it, like just to volunteer, because it's so easy for them to just move your volunteer role into a paid role because you're already on the system, rather than not being on it at all. Because I suppose it also helps that you're willing and you're looking interested in the event, whether you were going to get paid or not. So
and I think someone on the Euros team. Sorry, I was distracted by talking. Someone on the Euros team. Hello, stay awake, keep going. Only a couple of hours left. There's someone on the Euros team that started off as a volunteer recruiter, so did all the volunteer recruitment interviews, and then got moved onto the team. So I think like just talk to people. Like if someone chatted with me, like I'd point you in the directions of websites. Keep an eye on like global sports jobs. I think it's a really good one. Just keep an eye out and just apply. And I think the other sort of one is, particularly with like mega events where there's so many roles, you could apply for, let's say, I'm going to pick on Linda's accreditation. Say 90 people went for Linda's accreditation. Linda's got the experience, but Joe blogs. Let's actually go Anna because you're underneath. Anna's got more experience in a role that is coming out that's different. They'll just move your application across to that. Like Linda, I think when you applied for Euros, did you have a tick box that said would you be interested in any of the roles? So like chuck one in, and I've never done this, and this is just something that's plonked into my head, is actually not important. Apply for, like, you could potentially apply for just apply for a job early on and tick the box. I don't know if that would work. It's food for thought. Like the first time you see a job, not chief exec or something, but something a bit lower down, is apply for it and then just tick the box. I'd be interested in other jobs, and then they like see you. But I guess if you over apply, then you might get blacklisted. I don't know.
Brilliant. No, thank you for that. That's good.
Any other questions?
Right. I mean, I think we're good. Anyone else? One more last one to finish us off? Or I think we've covered. I mean, we've covered a lot.
We have covered a lot. I don't think we've covered a lot
We've
in
done
too much detail, but we've covered a lot, and I think we've
No,
learned
that was
about the
so great.
whole life along the journey.
Yeah, that was such a good insight into, I mean, your world. It is a bit of a world.
It is a world,
So-
isn't it? I don't even know what's happening in my own world, but I hopefully I've shared bits with you that should be semi-interesting.
Yeah, everyone's ready to look at. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there has been loads of Birmingham jobs coming up, which is good. They all be really exciting.
Apply, just find one,
Apply.
just go for it. Yeah, and GI, I think they advertise quite a lot of jobs on LinkedIn as well for Birmingham. So just like follow them. Like, the thing I do is go and follow all the upcoming sports. If you Google 2021 sporting calendar, like 2022, like Wikipedia, not a reliable source if you're still doing your degree, but someone's been sad enough to make this whole sport calendar for like 2022, and then just go and follow their LinkedIn pages, and then just keep an eye out for. So I've done that for the World Games in Birmingham, Alabama, just because for some reason I really want to work on it. And then you sort of see jobs come up. So there's my last tip. And thank you, Linda, for actually putting something useful in
that was good. Thanks, Linda.
Got me out of that one.
Yeah, no, wait, thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you, Laura.
That's okay.
Thank you guys so much for joining and for staying on. I can't believe how I feel like I could have listened to you forever, Elliott. I'm not gonna lie. It's now 8:15. You've had a little bit longer break. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your experience with us, and that kind of expertise from the inside, because I think for those that have maybe not been in a sporting event before, it's even just knowing the right words, what it's like day to day, and knowing, what your role entails, because sometimes even LinkedIn doesn't tell you these things. It's one of those things where you don't really know it until you experience it. So I think the mentor series, for example, and what EM mentoring has set up is really, really positive in that way. So thank you so much, one, for your time. I can't believe you're on site, because it's actually really cool to see someone not in their house.
I should have done it downstairs. There was stuff going on.
But thank you so much, Laura, for tuning in, for jumping on last minute as well, with Katie not being able to be here. It's been really wonderful, and I'm really glad you've been able to share your experiences as well, because obviously from a sporting background, it's a lot easier to host something about the sporting industry. So thank you for your time.
Fun. Good chat.
And if there's anything, for example, Elliott, I'm guessing it's not going to be LinkedIn. If anyone was to ask you any questions, or if you have any insight in any way, is there a way that someone can get
message me on LinkedIn and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'm usually pretty good, but don't get offended if you get a read receipt and I haven't replied.
Life, isn't it? It's real life again, though, isn't it? Once we're all back to normal again, quote unquote, it will be less time online, won't we? It will be harder to less replies and things once everyone's back on site and stuff.
Yeah, just ask questions. If you find something or you want to know something about an event or whatever, let me know. And there's loads of volunteering things. I'll see Linda soon. I think you're on a tour next week, and I might be around.
That would be so weird to see. Have you seen each other in person before? That'd be so.
No.
It'll be weird to see people's legs.
But that's the same thing. So we've been having lots of people visit, doing office tours, and you meet them for the first time, going, you look completely different in person.
Yeah.
Or those people that don't have the camera on, you just heard the voice and you create this picture of what they look like.
I've done that for the whole of third year of uni. I'm like, I've made up my own version of what everybody looks like, and I'm going to go back on uni and be like, that's not what. No, I had you as a ginger. I had you brown hair. You've got hair. No, wrong.
And I did find it hard when I left working from home to going back into venue of actually getting some stamina.
It's hard to go back, isn't it?
I think that's another big tip is try not to, just try and get used to it before you go into a job, because I'm absolutely knackered already. I've used to do this for months on end.
Don't let yourself burn out, guys.
Don't. You need
easier
it.
said than done.
Yes.
Linda, I'm also hoping for some, if you guys can take a selfie or something just to prove it happened.
Yeah,
send it into the chat, we need that.
We will, Linda will be putting up with me when I go and get my accreditation as well. She'll be blacklisting me based on all the stuff I've said today.
I love it. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you for sticking with us until this time. We've got the next mentor series, the next episode or session is not taking place next week anymore. So we've got a break next week, and then the week after that, we've got Rachel Kenny, who's going to be talking about corporate world, and maybe Elliott can join in on that.
I think I might need to take some advice about the other industries, because I am quite bad and I don't have a clue.
It happens. But yeah, thank you all for coming, and we'll hopefully see you not next week, but the week after.
Thank you.
That's fine for me. Bye. I'm gonna go. See you later, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.